Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm excited to announce that we are moving. So David and I bought a place a few months ago at this point, a few weeks ago, sorry. And yeah, I just wanted to get into the whole process of the story of how it came about, because we were not intentionally planning on moving this year at all. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so at the beginning of this year in 2020, David and I were not thinking of moving. Like, moving was a 2021 thing. We had talked about it. We had said we'll start the process at some point in 2020 of getting a realtor and mortgage approval and all of that stuff. But in February, I think it was like February or early March, I kind of got a big urge in my heart and was continuously telling David, like, I think you should reach out to a realtor. Like, let's just start the process. Better earlier than later. Like, let's just get on it. And shortly after, we had reached out to our friend, Keis. I'll leave his handle at some point here, but check him out. He was wonderful. And yeah, we reached out to him and shortly after started the mortgage approval process. But again, in our mind, we were just thinking about moving in 2021. Like, the whole idea was to get a kickstart on the whole process, see what was available, maybe check out a couple of houses and see what was in the market. And then next year we'd be able to make our final decision. So literally, I wanna say like a couple of days, maybe a week after we had finished our mortgage approval, we had received a text from our landlords saying we need to move by the end of this year, which at that point I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, what are the chances that we started this whole process and now we're having to move? Like, to me, it was just like a huge God thing, because I don't really believe in coincidences. I strongly believe that God does everything for a reason and a purpose. And I think that he genuinely like orchestrated it all, from like me urging David so early in this year to us getting a good realtor and mortgage approval and everything. So yeah, we had started the whole process and we literally were going to leave for a vacation like 2 days after we got the news. And it was in the back of our mind, and we were like, okay, well, what are the chances? But let's go with an open mind and see. It was a good thing that we started the process, but now we have to be serious about it and like really see what we can get. And so we started the process, and we'd kind of narrowed down the selection to a handful of houses, and we set up like basically 2 weeks of house viewings, which was rewarding and fun, but also kind of heartbreaking, because there were times we'd go into a house and here I am, first time home buyer, being like, we have time to think about it. Like, let's take a few days to think about it and not rush into the process. And then sure enough, it's like 2 days later, yeah, by the way, that home is gone. And I was like, wow, okay, things are moving really fast. I don't wanna like make a rushed decision, but at the end of the day, I was feeling like I kind of was at a position where I was like, I need to bite the bullet and figure something out. So David and I checked out a few houses, and then near the end of the 2 weeks, we had kind of narrowed it down to like 2 houses in Langley. So one was in Langley, one was in Cloverdale, I believe. But we'd kind of narrowed it down, and one of them was a yes for me in my books. Like, looking at the pictures, it hit every box that I wanted. And I was like, okay, this might be it. And we went into the home, we prayed before and was like, God, if this is what you want, please make it clear to us and just have your way upon this. And so we go into the house, and within like minutes of being in that house, I could tell something was off. Like, not that it was a bad house, but I just knew that it wasn't the house for us. And we went through the whole walkthrough and did all the viewing and everything, and then got into the car and I told David, I was like, this is not it. I don't know what it is, but this is not it. I can't put my finger on it. And he turned around and said the exact same thing. So I was like, okay, both of us are on the same page now, but now what? Like, it was this house or the other house. And so we drove to the last house on our list, and we'd shown our realtor, because we were also doing our research and our homework at this process, and we'd come across a house that we really liked, but it kind of almost seemed too good to be true. Like, it was the exact same square footage that we were looking for. It was like accessible, gorgeous, like everything was beautiful. It hit the, like, all the check boxes in my page. And so I was like, okay, let's just show it to him and see if we can even get a viewing, because at this point everything was going so quickly in the market. So he was amazing. He got us in for the next day. So we'd gone in early in the morning on Saturday, and we were like, okay, let's go in. And we prayed, and we're like, okay, God, this is kind of like our last hope. Like, can you please make this work? And if not, we know that there's like bigger and better plans, but we really would appreciate if this would work. And so we go in, we see this place, and instantly I fall in love. Like, I can picture my sister being over, I can picture my family having time over, I can picture David and I having kids there in the future. Like, it was perfect. And so I looked at David and he looked at me, and we both kind of had this look of like, this is it. And so not even like 2 minutes after we walked out of the house and we were coming downstairs, our realtor was like, okay, so did you like it? And we were like, yeah, we did. And he's like, okay, well, if you want to move ahead with this, now would be the time to do so, because there are already offers on this place. And at that point I was like, oh, okay. Like, this is fast. Like, I was expecting like, okay, can we get back to you by the end of tonight or like tomorrow morning? And it was like, no, you have to put in an offer literally within the next few hours. We gotta get this going like ASAP. And I was like, okay, this is against everything I do, because I don't like, especially when it comes to financial decisions, I don't like rushing. I like making very thought out, calculated moves, because it's a lot of money and it's like a big decision. And so I felt really rushed, but David and I had this peace in our heart, and we were like, okay, you know what? Like, if this is God's will, like, God's gonna make this happen. And if not, like, if this is not the home, God's gonna close the door for us. So we told the realtor, like, yes, okay, go for it, put it in. And after we both leave there, we like drove to a parking lot nearby, and we literally just sat there, played worship music, and started praying. We're like, hey God, like, everyone we had talked to basically said, yeah, don't get your hopes up for your first house. Like, even your first few offers, like, it probably won't go through. Don't even like, don't stress it. Just don't get your hopes up, and like, go with an open mind that you'll find something else. And we were like, okay, well, what if we don't find anything? And at that point, like, during this whole process, I was doing my very best to not get attached to homes. And so I was like, okay, God, I really love this place, but like, please make this a house, because I don't know if I can find anything better, but God, can you just make this work? And whatever your will, let it be done. And we just kind of kept praying that over and over again. And we were ecstatic the whole time. Like, David and I just couldn't believe the fact that we were actually even just putting an offer in so quickly, because at this point we'd only seen houses for about like 2-ish weeks, like maybe 3. And he works shift work, so it's like not even like every day. It's like, we probably saw houses for like a handful of days, like probably like 7 to 8 days in total. And so we sat there and we were praying, and the whole time David and I just felt this huge peace. Like, it was just like God saying, you trusted me in this process, you've prayed about this, now you gotta leave this in my hands and let me see this through. Like, I will take care of this, but you have to trust me that this is going to be the process. And so we'd gone home after a few hours, and then it was that night that we'd found out that our offer got accepted conditionally. And so at that point we were like, oh my gosh, is this real? Like, this is happening. And so it kind of hit us, and we were like, oh my gosh, this might actually be it. I was like, okay, like, step 1, we've gotten conditionally accepted. Now we gotta do all of this paperwork over the next few like days and see if we can get this out. And yeah, basically this past weekend, we just signed the papers and everything is official. Like, we are officially homeowners by the end of this month, which is literally insane, because if you told me at the beginning of this year, like, you're literally gonna be homeowners and you're moving out by the end of this year, like, I would probably have been laughing at you. But yeah, it was great. And so this whole process was just so seamless, and it was so, like, everything went well to the point where I was like, this cannot be this easy. But it was, like, from our realtor was amazing. Like, I cannot tell you guys enough about Tim. Like, sidebar, Tim is so wonderful. Not only does he like walk you through the whole process, he gives you education on like what to expect, what to look for, and he walks you through like finding good mortgage like approval people. He'll talk you through the process of like who to look for, how you need to do it, when you need to do it. And it was just such a peace of mind knowing that I have a good realtor who is going to walk me through the steps. And with Tim, it was such an easy process. And so I would highly, highly, highly recommend Tim, because honestly, the whole process is so easy, extremely trustworthy, and he's such a wonderful guy. Yeah, if you guys are looking, if you're in the Lower Mainland and you're looking for a good realtor, check out Tim. He's honestly wonderful. This is not sponsored. This is just an honest review of like how this whole process has been. So that's all I have for today's video. I didn't want to keep it too long, but I did want to share about this whole process in case any of you guys are looking or are interested in moving during this COVID season. I would highly, highly, highly recommend Tim Keis. And also just the whole factor of like just giving God the glory, because this whole process genuinely could not have happened if God didn't have his hand and his timing on everything. And so I really wanted to share that with you guys and encourage you guys that if you guys are praying for something or seeking things out, like just dig into prayer, and in the right time, like God will make it happen. Just, it may not be in the time that we're thinking, and it may be earlier, like it was in my case, or later, but just don't lose faith on the fact that like God is still working in his ways and in his paths. He's making ways for you, and he's going ahead of us. And so that's all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.